So part three of about my life. When I graduated high school, I was 18, and I went through a lot of challenges. Man, I really wanted to go to Duke University. I always had this love from the state of North Carolina, still to this day. And I was going to go to Duke because Duke is in Durham, which is right by Raleigh. And my goal was to stay in like Greensboro and then go to church in Charlotte. Our church at the time had a church named Charlotte Emmanuel, and it had been about 4 or 5 years old at that point when I got 18. And my pastor was going there kind of frequently, so it wasn't like, I wouldn't see, my pastor, and certain leadership had moved to Charlotte, so it would be kind of cool. It was like a home away from home. And, that was my plan. I was going to paint on the side to make money and get a side part-time job and paint, and then go to school. That was my big plan I had, and I was praying to get an academic scholarship because my grades were 4.0. And so I thought with the academic scholarship that would pay for the school. My mom was retired. She retired when I was 10. So I knew that there would have been no financial assistance on her end. And my dad and my mom were highly afraid of me leaving. It was very afraid of me leaving. And it was battles we had about me leaving. And so I reluctantly stayed. I don't live life in regrets. And I don't count me staying as a regret because doors opened up for Ohio Center for Broadcasting, WNCI, WBKO, and I met phenomenal people by staying, like Lady Extreme and Alvis Moore and Jesse Jones and people like that. I would have never met Keith Reed's, Edwin Channels. I would have never have met them if I had went to North Carolina. Do I believe God was in the North Carolina trip? Absolutely. And that was one of my first times that were glaring that I was disobedient to God. And I didn't repent until much years later, like almost a decade later. I really didn't repent for that. Because God was telling me that. And I allowed people to project their fear on me. And it paralyzed me and hijacked what God was trying to set up. And it pushed things back. And so sometimes people can project fears and hijack your life. And you have to be bold enough to say, no, I'm going to live what God called me to be. And so in 2014, I had that opportunity to leave. I was going to go to Cleveland. And once again, man, people were projecting the fears. And I made another fatal mistake. I put it on Facebook. And I made this long post. I'm moving to Cleveland, and some people were wishing me good luck and, giving me good and word of encouragement. There was those that were sliding in my inbox. Their job market's bad and all this other stuff. And I had a guaranteed job when I moved to Cleveland. My job, I could transfer the job. I was working in Columbus to Cleveland. And a lot of people talked me out of it. And when I didn't go, and I ended up starting a church in Columbus, and that wasn't what God told me to do. But God blessed it. He breathed on it, but I wasn't being obedient. And the Lord told me in that moment, He said, you can't trust me with 2 hours. And that really blew my mind. And so I really learned something in that moment. And I really felt convicted in my spirit. Like, can I trust you with 2 hours? And so it was a battle. It was a war in that. And so when I birthed, it was a lot of hardship. God blessed. A lot of people's lives were touched. And God can get the glory out of anything. And I'm thankful for my time in Ohio. I think that there was some good that we did. I think there was some good that hopefully that people will remember, and lives were impacted by the obedience of the yes that I gave God. But I've learned that it's better to be obedient than to sacrifice.